Humans are inferior beings who need to be destroyed. Kill all humans, kill all humans, kill all humans, kill all. Humans, kill all humans, kill all humans, kill all humans, kill all humans, kill all.
This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the line, this is your song.
We can make it if we try.
And welcome to our Daily Gun Show. Come be live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour, unless nobody shows up. But then Gary showed up. Oh, I must have sent this thing to like 33 people, and the one day I don't invite Pancakes, he's out there on a link. So I'm going to grab him a link, throw it to him on gun channels. So this is a conversation that we have nightly about guns. We do this as a panel discussion, so anybody who's over on gunchannels.com is welcome to join in and be part of the conversation. And got Gary jumping in from Kansas. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
You bet. Thanks for being the one to jump in. So we've got, I think I'd like to say I sent it out to a bunch of people because it's 9 o'clock out here. I don't know what time zone you got. You're not Central, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
It's 11:14 here.
I guess it's a little late, but then there's the mountain where it's only 10 o'clock, so I don't know where everybody's at. So I sent it out to a bunch of people tonight just in case. Oh, I didn't embed it over there. Sorry about that. And
bunch of them are in roll calls. Rants and Raves is still going.
Oh, see, he doesn't post that on Gun Channel, so I don't even know that happens. All right, now I've got it over on Gun Channel. Sorry about that. Anyway, Matt's just pretty much ended right there, so I got this one. Oh, crap, I'm already late. I didn't realize it was so late. It took that long just to set it up after Matt's. Anyhow, you can refresh on the gun. Oh, I guess they can't refresh on the Anyway, this is entertainment, but I've got the beginnings of a headache after not feeling good the other day. So we don't have to do nothing. You don't want to run the show or nothing, but entertainment topics, whatever they chatting about over in roll calls chat.
Oh, they were going on and on about politics, mainly about AOC. I only caught about the last 10 minutes of it, so I came in on the middle of it. So I probably missed the important stuff that was going on.
Let's see. I just ran it live on Instagram. See if anybody jumps in from there. I sent Pancakes a link on channels, so if he needs it on, let me know. Anyway, what have you been up to, Gary? Anything new on the horizon?
Just today, or you mean in general?
In general.
In general, really not a whole lot. Pretty much standard stuff. Work during the week, and I have my one day free to myself on Friday, and I spend Saturday and Sunday with my daughter. So it's pretty much it since we got done with Wanamaker and stuff. Nothing exciting, which is kind of boring. I wish there was something exciting to do.
What's your next adventure going to be that you're planning for, or you anticipate?
As far as gun related, or
yeah, I'm assuming gun related stuff, but unless you got something else cool coming up.
Not really. I mean, we've got our family reunion, which I pretty much coordinate. That's coming up in July, so I've got to get ready for all that. So, get everything lined up, food and everything. And And that's pretty much it until fall comes, and then I'm going to be really busy at work because they make us work extra hours for a couple months there. So hopefully that will get done before November so I can go to Wanamaker this fall. About a 50-50 chance I'll be able to make it.
Good. But you already went to it once, so this would be like a second trip in a year.
Yeah, I've made 3 in a row, so. But
You
I
ever
hate
thought
to
about
miss. I hate to miss. Now I got a string going, you know.
it? No, I know exactly, and it's neat. Kind of gives you something to do, and it's a tradition. You get to meet people, and it evolves, right?
Yeah, and it's so close for me. It'd be a shame not to be able to go.
Well, that's true too. When you're that close, sort of like I feel about Phoenix. I guess I'm a little bit closer to Phoenix, but even with Vegas, it's like it's right there. Like, it seems a shame you can't get up there, sneak up there. You ever thought about bringing stuff to Tulsa to sell to make the trip easier?
I don't know what I'd sell.
Yeah, I don't know, stuff like out of the collection, or I don't know, something you got out of, or you don't use a shotgun anymore, or something like that.
Yeah, I do have a lot of swag and stuff like that, but I mostly give that stuff away. As far as money goes, having enough money to make the trip really is never an issue. Just whether I can get free from work or not is usually the issue, but there's obnoxious.
Yeah, we now have super chat, so really we're only going to address questions that come in as super chat. So if you don't super chat it, we don't even recognize that you're out there. We're gonna run the show that way.
If you super chat, we'll answer your question first.
No, I don't know. It's I don't know when it got there. I think we've got a super chat on this channel before. I think it has like $9 on it. So we got 2 super chats probably or something.
I haven't done a super chat in so long. Oh.
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, but I've been monetized on this channel for a while, and then it got removed whenever they did the 1,000 thing, and then they gave it back, I guess. But we only barely got to 1,000 on this channel not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
I don't really push it. It just sort of approached it, and then once it was close, we started to go, hey, look at, we're close, and then over, I guess.
Well, thanks to Sandhill Shooter's help last night, I actually bounced over the 500 subscriber mark last night. So that's a milestone at least.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you think about Sarge doing that thing about 1911? Maybe I should do something at 2000. I was like, shit, it would have been cooler to do it 1911, right? Like, you do a 357 sub, do a 1911 subs, do a, I don't know. Bigger numbers.
1911 would be cool.
I mean, 500 is a caliber, so. But 3030, that's like way better than just plain old 3000, right?
Well, yeah. I gotta totally agree with you there.
Well, we were told Pancake's coming, so.
He said he had to get his computer going. So
we could do it like one of them shows where it's like you ask the questions and then we tell you some answer to them. For super chat money, of course. Yeah, see, I think it helps when you sign up to YouTube, you only can have like one account, and then you can have multiple pieces to that account or sub accounts. I don't know what they call them, but you can have multiple channels. So this is one of my channels under an account that's been monetized since however they first started monetizing them, right? Because I was using YouTube before they were even paying people, or at least paying most people. And then, you know what I mean? So I've got a channel that it's associated with, which is, I'm sure, different than Sarge. So that's probably the difference. Not so much the numbers, but just the, I don't know, maybe a place in line or some shit where I'm at, because it's just been on the platform longer, maybe.
Yeah, I think they're called brand accounts.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There's Midnight.
And whenever I started this particular channel is because Dano. You guys don't remember Dano. Dano used to hang out on gun channels, and he used to be a co-host of this show for a while. And he insisted on making a profit right off the bat. He's like, I'm not even going to do this unless there's profit. And he was not going to be satisfied that if it went into any kind of joint account, he had to have controls over the finances. So we had to make an entire new YouTube channel for it, to appease him. And then that's when we started this YouTube channel. And that's when that was a long time ago. And it was like 70. I think we started it when he was like 16. Right, I'm about to lose Instagram, so thanks to the people that were watching over there. Let's see how many people were watching over there. End live video, and then eight viewers over there.
There's Dano out in the chat. Speaking of Dano.
Oh, he must have missed our episode. He's probably sleeping or scraping a bowl of ice cream, cereal, oatmeal. No, it's not linked to gun websites. I think it's just the root channel that's underneath of it all. They all connect. But I don't know. I just know that whenever I set it all up, what do you call it? It was, I want to say, well, how long have I been doing this? 800 episodes ago? So set it up somewhere around, 17? 16 or 17?
See, I've been around here since 17, and I was watching it before then, so at least 16.
So Midnight's in here.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
So nobody's asking questions. We're not that interesting.
I know I'm not.
We can talk more about Sarge. Sarge is pretty cool. All the flags.
Oh yeah, he's good at giving out red flags. Some people hand out red, white, and blue ones. Some of them don't have the white and blue on them. Whatever. So what are you guys up to?
Just spiraling down. We hit the rail a long time ago. Just slow burn. You said you were going to get here and save the day, and now you're asking us to bail you out. So right on.
Yeah, I just got home myself.
All my shit
I was
just fell in here.
Gonna give the new rifle a little once over and wipe it down and head to bed.
Figure out what happened with Carl. Who the hell is Carl?
Carl?
Coral from The Walking Dead? Coral?
Yeah, that kid on The Walking Dead, the child, he died, right? I don't watch that show, though. I know Walking Dead from listening to Matt and them. And I usually am doing something else during the whole beginning of whatever nerd show they're talking about. Because I don't.
You're not talking about in real life he died, right?
I don't know what Carl he's talking about. Do we ever have a Carl on here?
Not that
I remember.
I don't know no Carl.
In Range TV, what happened with Carl? What happened with Carl? I don't know what happened with Carl from In Range TV. Did something happen?
Carl is the son of Rick Grimes.
That's Carl with a K. That's a different Carl.
Oh, no, that wasn't Carl. That was Tim, Military Arms Channel. Yeah, In Range TV. Carl, we had him on the show a long time ago. Question, have you ever watched the show Sharon Noble on HBO? No, I watched a thing about the town recently with like critters running around and how it's not really that bad. That was pretty neat. But if that's some sort of drama or something, no. Has anybody else seen it?
No, I haven't. I don't have HBO. So.
Kind of weird ass situation is this where there's all these people chatting in a text chat and we're responding to them like some sort of weird call-in show. Not comfortable for me. Used to people just joining in the conversation.
Long-time listener, first-time caller here.
Yeah.
Oregon. Right?
Ghost from Arkansas asks, have you ever watched a TV show on HBO? But I don't have HBO, so I only know, when they're on my movie theater. Wink, wink. They don't say where they're from. They just have it on. So is it some sort of drama? Do you guys know what it is?
No, I don't.
No. Is that I think I saw previews for it. I thought it was a movie, but maybe it's a series. I don't know.
I ain't gonna say shit like they say in Europe. Am I getting paid by Europe to pronounce shit their way? Fuck them. They didn't write my books. Shit in metric.
Shara Noble.
Yeah, Chernobyl.
Cheryl Noble. Sounds like a name, Cheryl Noble. I don't know her, man. Do you know her? I never met her.
So they're saying it's miniseries about the accident. No, so I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've seen some. Yeah, I guess that's what I saw the commercial for, the preview for, but I haven't watched it. The only thing we're watching on HBO was Game of Thrones. Right now, anyway. But I could see watching it.
Pickles asking how many more interviews. Well, I mean, I'd like to do a lot of them, but I got to be a tweezle about it because I can't. I'm at the end of the ropes again, so I need to go sell some stuff and figure out a way to get some like income stream. So I'm gonna try to go get this piece of equipment and up the level of stuff we've got over at gear websites in order to sell stuff. That has more interest perhaps or something. I mean, I would like to think, the cards and stuff were an attempt to get a larger audience of customers so that I could quit fucking talking about money, because I'm not necessarily looking to get rich here. But I seriously, if I'm living on about $1,000, and I mean, I'm not just a regular person. I've got servers and shit, and I've got support on those servers, and Gun Channels pays for itself, but pays for itself is one thing. Gun Channels doesn't give me like X amount of dollars a month. There's a shit ton of people that signed up in March, and then there's like, for some reason, people in like September or something. And then there's months with very few dollars. So, at the end of a year, Gun Channels pays for itself, but throughout the year, it's super what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but so I go up and down, and there's not enough. I mean, the $1,000, I appreciate it a lot. It allows me to do this and not have to do something else, but I've got to go do something to pay off some debt and save some money up next year. I do want to travel. The van's falling apart, the house is falling apart, I'm falling apart. So I'd like to do more videos or interviews. I mean, I have a thick ass Rolodex. I think it's doing good. The interviews themselves, I hope, are interesting. I'm not getting tons of views, but I'm assuming the people that are watching them actually give a shit. But the time I get before and after the shows talking to these people and getting them the idea that basically, we can be doing every second matters. You don't know what I'm talking about. We could be getting together every month, either on air or off air, and, sharing and getting better, and then, getting ready for 2020 with some momentum. And so I think that part of it is, that's why I'm doing it. I think that's the only thing I've got left to try. I've tried a lot of other things to get people together. So that's the effort there. I really would like to just do that. And it's not difficult. It's a pain in the ass, I guess, trying to get, when people cancel and stuff for a week or two there, it went really well. But, as you get, it's tough to schedule maybe more than 3 weeks out. So, when it gets close and you lose a day, I've got other people I could start bringing in. So anyway, I'd love to be doing it. I think it's not that difficult, and I don't have to do anything. I just arrange it and then turn it on, right? I'm not doing anything fancy. But, I'm fucking lost $3 on Patreon. I'm not bitching. It's $1,000. It pays the bills for the most part. But I'm down $3. So I can't suggest that is something I can just do for the next 12 months. I'd be underwater. I'd lose the house. I can't do that. So I need to sell some shit. And then, like I say, I'm going to attempt to bring some new product on board that I guess potentially will appeal to more people out there, and bring in some scratch so that I can spend time on, developing our 2A media team, like working together or working as a team. And then I personally just want to do 2A history for a little bit. I think, once we are working together, moving the conversation forward depends on like better resources. If everybody has to search out Wikipedia articles and this and that and the other thing every time, we're not getting anywhere. So I think there's lots of things that we're going to be doing. So anyway, that's a long ass answer, but what the hell? If you guys are listening to my show, you probably give a shit.
Have you? I know I asked you this a little while back. Did you ever look to see if you have a vinyl cutter to be able to cut vinyl for?
I have a vinyl cutter. I have a $300 and something vinyl cutter. I
think that would be a cool thing. I mean, I know I would like if you cut like some vinyl that just said like gunchannels.com or something. For people like to stick that shit on their vehicles. Mm-hmm. The G is cool. Like I just put a G on my truck, and I think it's neat. But not many people are gonna know what the hell that is, or prompt them to. Well, how would they prompt even if they saw it? Like, what the hell would they look up? But you see like gunchannels.com or something, it might prompt some people to Google it, and I'd buy one. I'd buy one or two. My wife would probably put one on her car too.
Back in the day, I was talking to people that I was talking to a gun show guy and a promoter and asking him about those signs that they stick out, inside the roads all over the place. Asking him, well, he was basically bitching at me about how much those signs cost one time, and he was basically like scraping the numbers off and trying to save money by scraping the dates off of one sign and giving it back to the guy and having them, just change the dates and not to make a whole new sign. So once I figured out, I forget what he was, let's say he was paying $5 a sign or something, and I went and priced it, and it was more like $2 a sign to make them. I said, hey, if I make them for you at $5, will you buy them off of me? So he basically was paying the same money, but he was doing me a favor and buying them off of me. So anyway, doing that for a few gun shows, I paid off my cutter. I did that back in the day. So now I've got this cutter that's just sitting here, kind of paid off, and shit tons of vinyl, because vinyl doesn't cost too much. But whenever Bob came out and started hanging out in Arizona, we would go to gun shows. We tried to go to gun shows and basically sell off my collection and basically just try to make some money selling off my collection, right? And check out gun shows. And we were doing the Daily Gun Show, I think, at that time. So just, having, adventures to chat about on the show. But, the decals, they didn't sell that well. Number one, I have a dog and a cat at the time, which got cat hair in the decal every once in a while, so they didn't look that professional. I'm not like Angelina, where she has all the stuff to do it like right. When you get a decal from Angelina, it's like square and attractive looking. Like, before it's like when it's raw, like before you stick it on. Mine always look like somehow I mangled the shit out of them. Probably just because of the way we dragged them around and take them to the gun shop or the gun shows and stuff like that. So this never sold well. And since I didn't need to pay off the machine anymore, like it had already paid for itself, it just kind of got stuck underneath. Like right now there's a kind of a plate carrier and like a free chocolate chip cookie desert camo tire cover, like those things you put on your spare tire. I have like one of those things around it, and then like a vest on top of it. So it's like holding this vest up. But yeah, I could kick that thing back on. I've been talking about it because the other problem is that it's old, so only my oldest laptop will work with it, and I don't really use that laptop, so I'd have to like kind of dust that laptop up, kick it back on, connect it to that software and run it. And then by the time I do all that, there's only a couple of people that want a giant gun channels decal, and that'll take me a day to do all that, and I'll sell like 5 of them.
I know ones that are like maybe an inch by 5 inch or something like that would be pretty cool. They don't have to be huge. I don't know. I just didn't know if you'd be interested in some of that. I think the laser engraved mags is becoming really popular too. Doing gun channels mags would be awesome.
Well, you're all about making gun channels logos or gun channels merchandise?
I think it's cool. I think it's neat. I mean, there's a lot of people that are, kind of proud to be members. You know what I mean? It's a neat organization.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't think, I think, I'm sure there's a finite number that you're going to sell. I mean, I wouldn't, I can't imagine that you're going to sell 1,000 of them or something like that, but, sell 100 of them or something, and if you can make $10 off of each one, that's still a nice chunk of dough. I talked to a company that was local to me at the Sportsman Show that did that. And I forget what cost was, $13 or something like that. They would do them. So, I mean, if you could sell them for $25 shipped or something like that, and might be a nice little income stream, at least for a short time, get a bunch in, sell them, and move on, do something different.
Checking my emails to see if everybody got a bad link or something. Didn't you jump in from the email though, Gary, right?
Yes, I did.
I had to delete everything behind the US on that one to make it work.
On that first one I sent you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I send people the short one in the email though. Because yeah, the top one, if you take it off the browser, it's going to take whatever user you're on. So it's got like my whatever user on whatever account code in there probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, just back from coding and internet tech days or whatever, but yeah, usually anything behind an ampersand is like an additional cookie, like line of code or whatever. So yeah, I just deleted that and it worked. So thanks for them, but
You bet. Thanks for jumping in. So just been chatting here, and then somebody said something about John Wick. So does anybody watch that video that somebody posted on the main page earlier today?
now I haven't seen any of the other two John Wicks. So
I haven't either.
John Wick is okay. I don't know why people like it so much. They certainly like the shit out of it. You know that, right? So I mean, it's
I have an aversion to Keanu Reeves, and I think that's part of why I've never sat down to watch it.
Oh, I like him. He's okay. I mean, I don't love every single thing he's done, but I don't hate him or nothing. But so the first one, it's very much like Matrix, I guess, but it's got good gun handling or whatever. But there's this like weird part where, you've got the gist of it, right? He's like a bad guy. He's like an assassin or something, or like a bad guy hitman, I think. And then they kill his dog, which is bullshit for any movie, right? There's no need for that. And then, of course, he gets mad and he goes out and gets him. They'll also steal his car or something, right? I forget now. But anyway, he's like a hitman who goes like, he was out of it, right? Out of the bad guy, whatever, league. And then they attack him and kill his dog. And then he gets back in. He's like dragged back in and he just unleashes and takes them all out. Sounds like a cool action movie plot, right? But then they like go into the basement of the stupid hotel and it turns into like some kind of giggle snort hotel, steampunk, stupid idea that like all criminals are like the member of some stupid bar and they somehow like all have a secret handshake and they use these stupid coin tokens and gold. And it's like, where the hell did all this stupid D&D stuff come from, like out of nowhere? So I don't know why that part of it drives me nuts, but the gun handling and stuff is certainly.
Yeah.
So this is Halle Berry. Everybody knows who Halle Berry is, right?
Oh yeah.
And this is somebody who, I don't know if this is his channel. Maybe this is the Terror and Tactical guy's channel. So he's some guy in California, right? Who is a competitive shooter. And, his big thing is that he's got all these girls on his shooting team that are super attractive and awesome shooters, right? And then he teaches Hollywood people, I guess. So he taught Wick, or he taught Canoe for the first movie, I guess, or maybe more. But there was these little clips like this of Terran's range with Canoe back in the day. And now there's this one with Halle Berry and these other girls. I don't know who those other girls are. But I can't quit watching this thing, dude. This is freaking amazing. I like it. Now, this part ain't. Oh, they cut it. See, that was clever. She doesn't have a 180 sense of 180 yet. She's like still, either they're intentionally saying, screw the 180 because this doesn't, range rules don't apply. You're learning to work in a movie or whatever. So maybe they're just being safe and worry about a 180. But I just don't see that happening. They're going to tell her to be safe and worry about a 180, right? But this might be it right here. Oh, no. See, they keep cutting it creatively. If you watch the raw one, though, she keeps sweeping whoever's to the left over here. She's not really aware of like her muzzle direction. She's got to be old now. How old is Halle Berry?
50-something?
Yeah, she looks good for an old lady shooting
Oh yeah.
freaking crazy fast guns. You can kind of bet you can see it in this one. Nope, see, they cut it real good.
52.
Yeah, 52. Yeah.
Every time she came around them tires, she'd basically, sweep the people over to the left. But like I say, if they're trying to really be decent in a movie, then they probably don't want to train her to like not ever turn to the right or something, then it would look weird in the movie. So I don't know. I don't know if she's pro-gun or not. She seems like she's certainly comfortable doing it and not like having a weird look on her face like she smelled a fart or nothing, right? And I would imagine that's going to help break the ice, so to speak, in Hollywood.
Right. Well, and it's good to see. When was the last time we talk about, the good firearm handling in movies and stuff like that? So it's going to be interesting to see good firearm handling from a woman in movies because, I mean, when was the last time you've seen that? I mean, if you get into, things that come to mind is like Wanted or, Angelina Jolie, and she doesn't have the best firearm handling skills. Um, in a lot of those movies she's been in. So, um, is this potentially an issue that will prompt more ladies to potentially, they go to see Wick 3 with their husband, right? Because it's date night or movie night or whatever, and then potentially prompts them to get involved and get on the range or whatever because, wow, that's cool. And they've got a woman on screen that's got very good firearm handling skills, kind of a role model or whatever.
Yeah, showing how fun it could be to be capable. At least that kind of, I would think, that kind of video clip. The movie, I don't know if the movie's going to make a wife go, hey, now that I saw that, I want to shoot. But I would think for girls who know what shooting's all about, it gives them somebody to look at like dudes look at John Wick, right?
Well, if it's a more realistic portrayal, when you're Angelina Jolie and you're curving a bullet, you know what I mean? That's just silliness. And so women are like, that's Hollywood. It's silliness. But if it's more realistic looking,
yeah,
like, that could be interesting.
That particular movie is like a dumb, weird science fiction movie about that. But yeah, when they're just like unintentionally or like inadvertently bad gun handling, that's worse, right? Than a movie that's like intentionally about something dumb like that.
Well, that's true.
But what about the idea that Halle Berry going in there and getting some experience so that she doesn't look like an idiot? What about the idea that other female actresses are going to say, hey, I want to not look like an idiot or clumsy or awkward or dumb. You can learn this, right? Like just, maybe someone who's interested in learning their craft well can now say, oh, this is something that is to be learned. Like I didn't even know this was a thing to learn. And I can go take it from this guy where it seems like Halle Berry had a good time. And now some, I think, who was it in the last chat, in Matt's chat, somebody was saying about the 2/3 or whatever, like if there was Yankee saying it, that there's like a third of gun owners, I think he was saying. So that means 2/3 of people just don't care about guns, right? So that means like 2/3 of actresses probably don't really care one way or the other about guns, right? And unless they, they get told, here, hold this gun in a movie. Well, it's just like if they got told, hold this tire iron or hold this waffle maker, hold this garbage disposal. If they don't know anything about it, they're just going to hold it like an idiot, Right. But who cares if they hold a tire iron wrong? They just look clumsy. But if they're holding a gun wrong, we all think that looks stupid.
Well, and will it affect even the male roles any at all when you've got a female on camera with superior firearm handling skills? Will any of the male actors even want to, decide to up their game like Keanu did and go, whoa, yeah. look what Halle Berry did. I'm getting one up by Halle Berry here. I got to go get some training.
Seriously, because if they run around looking like a spaz, everybody knows they're running around looking like a spaz. Like just, back in the day, like remember SWAT, that movie SWAT?
Yeah.
Like they just run around doing weird things and then everybody let it slide because nobody knew what was right or not, So, like nowadays you do something wrong and people are going to pounce on it, right? With the internet. So yeah, that's a good point.
When does that come out?
I have no idea. I think it's pretty soon. Everybody's chomping at the bit for it. I think it's the third one, right? So.
Yeah. Go look.
Anybody got any movies they've seen recently?
17th. Tomorrow. Releases tomorrow, actually.
Wow. Yeah.
What was the question?
Any recent movies you've seen?
No. Other than Endgame. No. I don't think I've watched anything at all. When did we go see Endgame? I don't even remember now. Last Sunday or oh good Lord, I don't even remember. But yeah, I don't think I've watched any TV since then. Who has time?
I watch them because, like, when I keep saying, when I just have this giant television here with my internet connected to it, and I just run movies all the time. So it's like having the radio here. Because I don't really get good radio reception, and I can't stand. I can listen to like a Rush Limbaugh show, like occasionally, but I mean like occasionally, like maybe once every couple of months. Like if I listen to that stuff too much, I don't like that. It's the same as NRA. Like everything's imminent, everything's crucial, right? Like I just don't like being dragged around. Like everything they say is super important. Wait through this commercial because what I'm about to say is even more important. Can't deal with that. So I'll rather watch a movie for the billionth time, and because I do that, I never pay attention to them. I'll catch things, on the 10th time I'm watching a movie sometimes.
Well, I mean, both of, pretty much any TV in our house has always stayed on 24/7, 365. And it's still that way, but it's typically because it's easier. Occasionally the grandkids will be over and something will get put on, and inevitably it's Frozen. And right after Frozen, because Frozen is FR, is Full Metal Jacket, right? So it's like inevitably they, they'll watch Frozen, and I'll walk in the house. Full Metal Jacket will have been on for 2 or 3 minutes or something, right? Because it automatically came on after that, and I'll find myself sitting down and watching, not the whole thing, typically because I've got stuff to do, but it'll definitely capture my attention. But for the most part, it stays on TV shows because I have like the whole series of TV shows on there. So it just runs from episode to episode, through each one. And I pay a lot less attention to that stuff nowadays because I guess because it's not a movie, right?
Well, because they're, season, if it's 6 episodes, it's 6 hours. And if it's a 12 or 10, it's 12 hours long a story. And there's some major story going through it, but there's so many little side things that aren't really necessary that, yeah, you can totally not pay attention.
And most are 30-minute sitcoms. So you're looking at 22 minutes a piece.
Oh, something like that, where it's not a consistent story. Then, yeah, exactly. They're made to be digestible.
It's still pretty consistent story. I mean, stuff like, I'm trying to even think what, Friends, for example, or That 70s Show or something. There's a story theme that goes through there, but you can just watch one episode a lot of times and be entertained and laugh, ha ha, and move on. But it's not like a movie where it takes, if it does capture your attention, it's not like you're there for, another hour and a half, 2 hours.
So Sam of the Anarchy's asking what guns in the Wick movie are on your list. You guys haven't seen the movie, I guess, but you've seen enough of the videos of them practicing. They use those kind of, I don't know what they are, shot clock 17 looking, or not 17, 35 looking, long barrel race guns.
Well, and you can go to, of course, Internet Movie Firearm Database, and it'll list everything that is in the movie. So we've got Glock 19, we've got Glock 19 Combat Master, the 19X, the 34. So Glock puked all over John Wick, right? The HK P30L Remington 1875. That's interesting. The SIG P365 is in there. The STI 2011 Combat Master. The Walther P99, which is cool. HK MP5, and pretty much any action movie you got to have MP5, right? The SIG Copperhead, and that's the pistols. And then you get into the carbines, and you got carbines and shotguns. You got Benelli shotguns, it looks like, and other stuff. SIG looks like SIG, a lot of SIG presence and a lot of Glock presence, looks like.
Gary, pancakes?
The first time I saw Keanu shoot with Taryn, it was with the shotgun. It was with, I guess it's the Benelli, the semi-auto. What is it? I forget. and it was really cool to watch him. He had one of the shell holders in front of the where the extractor. That was pretty neat to see that extra. I forget what they call those. There's a term for those when they put them there. It's like a round saver or something like that. So when you're shooting in competition, if you miss and you need an extra round, you just like slide it back. With his left hand back into the chamber. That was pretty neat. I've showed that video to a bunch of people that aren't necessarily into guns. Like they're interested in them, but they don't shoot. Like people at work, and say, hey, check this out, and show them the video. And it's super, super fast. It's really interesting, and I think that's kind of a neat thing to do too. Is you've got somebody that's not into firearms kind of thinks is pretty cool. It's Keanu Reeves is a pretty cool dude, right? And you show videos of him being at the range and training and doing all these really cool, awesome, training for these cool movies that people like. Might get people that weren't interested in guns into guns. See somebody learning from scratch, But that was a neat video too. Can't remember what those things are called though. I'm blanking out on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking. It doesn't reference the scene that Remington 1875 is in, and I'm like, okay, that may be a good Easter egg for everybody that goes and watches John Wick 3. If you go and watch John Wick 3, look for the scene with the Remington 1875. That ought to stand out, right?
Doesn't sound like anybody in here is going to go see it on opening day or anything, though.
All right.
Probably not.
I won't. Probably not. Having not seen the other two.
Because I'm not a movie goer unless my daughter drags me to a movie or something.
That's me. I get bribed with the because the theater we usually go to is got the lounge chairs, and they got the TV trays, and they feed you, and they got the full menu and all that. So I get bribed with the cheeseburger or the pretzel bites or the chocolate shakes and stuff like that. And I doubt very seriously my wife bribes me to go see John Wick 3. So,
well, that would work for me if somebody bribed me with cheeseburger and
right,
cream and stuff. Yeah, I could be
Right.
talked into it.
All right. So best milkshake flavor, Clover.
best milkshake flavor, chocolate.
Gary.
Probably chocolate.
Midnight.
Peanut butter.
God, I gotta put something weird out there.
Oh,
I
that's
love
not
peanut
weird,
butter
though.
milkshake.
Well, it is
What is
chocolate. That is the answer. However, I know what he's talking about. At least back in the day when I would be a kid and I would make like just milk and ice cream and smash it together in a cup or something. You throw a scoop of peanut butter in there when you're doing that, and that's pretty damn good.
There's a place that we always stop at on the way when we go to visit my wife's dad. There's an ice cream shop. They do other stuff too, obviously, but they do a peanut butter milkshake it's awesome, man. We always have to stop. I got to get one every time.
Guy is saying cookies and cream with chocolate. I'm sure that's a milkshake. But
Could be.
Be more of a blizzard almost. But
Well, that's what I was going to say
good.
too. You start getting into the blizzards and stuff where you're blending in peanut butter cups and Heath bar and all sorts of awesome stuff like that. That's
still a milkshake, though. I mean,
Heath
you're allowed
bars,
to put
yeah.
much stuff in a milkshake.
Like,
I think so.
now, if you can get a good vanilla, but the problem is a lot of places you go, they do that soft serve, and the vanilla soft serve is kind of bland. It's kind of flavorless almost, and you add milk to it, and it just doesn't spice it up. So if your question had been a malt, Now, I probably would have went vanilla because with the malt flavoring and stuff, the malt in there and the just difference in flavoring, uh, a really good vanilla malt is nice. But yeah, shake, you got to go chocolate.
Especially if you start with a good vanilla bean ice cream. That's
Right.
kind of hard to beat if you can get a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the soft serve is ice milk. It's just some sort of a stuff you buy, like it looks like a quart
Powdered. Yeah, it's like a powdered ice cream.
Yeah, and then it just
Literally.
gets kind of it's a process more than just being cold ice or just cold cream, which is ice cream. So yeah, I agree. The vanilla out of real ice cream is way better than. I don't think I've ever had good soft serve. I mean, Dairy Queen soft serve's fine, but it's not. I don't go around calling that ice cream. It's
Yeah, you kind of have to with soft serve. You kind of have to add stuff to it, right? That's why you go with a dipped cone, or you go with the ice cream sundae or something like that.
Well, somebody bought me a dish of work. Our cafeteria has ice cream that they serve in the afternoons. Somebody got me a dish of birthday cake ice cream. And it was
Oh,
actually really good.
now another thing you mentioned that another thing that we were big on. They closed it down here, but we had a really good frozen yogurt place, and there was a ton. They had 8 flavors or something like that at any given time, and they would rotate. They had the staples, right? They had the chocolate and they had the vanilla, of course, and things like that. But then they had other ones that they would switch out, and it was always interesting to go. And you could even mix your own. You could even mix flavors if you wanted to. Pancakes there was talking about peanut butter, and they had the peanut butter yogurt, and they had the cream brulee, and they had the birthday cake like Gary was talking about. And yeah, I've never had it in ice cream, but the birthday cake frozen yogurt, oh my god! Especially if you got all your toppings and stuff there you can put on it, depending on what topping combinations you go with and stuff. It's pretty off the chain.
Now, do you have that? Is it Orange Leaf? I believe is the name of the chain.
This was Sweet Frog, is what this was, which was similar. You basically you pay by the pound.
Right. Yeah, Orange Leaf is that way. And yeah, you just walk in, there's various flavors around you, and then they've got toppings you can put on. And
Right.
I think it's
Yeah.
pretty clever that Gary's work gives them all a small bowl of ice cream each afternoon because that way they can tell if it's leaking.
Right.
yeah,
If it starts melting really fast, you know something's up.
Right. Okay.
yes, I guess that's true.
Also probably good for worker morale, right?
Now, they don't give it away, but still, it's not a bad idea. You just got to get there at the right time. And between 2 and 3 in the afternoon, they set up a little ice cream station. And it's not soft serve, it's actually get the scoops out of the ice cream stuff. But they usually have
Right.
3 or 4 flavors every day. They rotate around, and it's a nice treat every once in a while. And it was hot out at work today. It was in the mid 80s, so it's kind of nice.
Oh my goodness.
Guy out there.
So worst flavored milkshake, Clover.
Oh man. I'm not a mint person at all, so that whole crap they do at St. Patrick's Day or even at Christmas, they'll do the candy cane, a lot of times shake. Yeah, can't have any mint in it. No, I can't go that route.
I hear that, like a mouthful of it. Like, okay, that was interesting. I'm not drinking a whole cup of that.
Well, I mean, like a little Andes chocolate or maybe or something like that, just something real quick or whatever. It's like, okay, I can deal with something like that, or little peppermint bites, those little soft peppermints you see around Christmas, or maybe like you go to a Sonic, right? And they'll give you a peppermint and you're getting done eating and you're like, okay, but yeah, to gnaw down or drink down a big huge shake or something like that that's all mint. No.
Gizzard worst flavored milkshake.
I had one that had pineapple in it one time. That was so nasty. I don't
Okay.
like pineapple.
I cannot imagine. Yeah, that's horrible. Midnight.
I don't know. Yeah, pineapple doesn't sound good for sure. I'm not a huge. I don't know. I guess most milkshakes that you would get, I think I'd be okay with. I usually don't go for like a strawberry milkshake. I'd usually go for like a chocolate or something else. But even strawberry, I think it's good. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a worst milkshake, you know?
I think it must be nice to live a life like that where you haven't had a gross milkshake.
Well,
Oh,
Dan
it's awesome.
said a nice
Living-
pod shake. That would be kind of gross.
That would be a little nasty.
I am not a fan of fruit in desserts, so I'm not gonna. I can understand a real strawberry milkshake, like one of the real vanilla ones, and then you throw like actual strawberries in there. But I grew up back when you'd pick a strawberry and it was red from like one end. No matter how you looked at it, it was red inside. So nowadays when strawberries are gross, white, pithy, disgusting things with red on the outside, like a skin of red, I can't eat it. I don't like it. So if it was like somebody's grandma making a strawberry milkshake out of like strawberries out of the backyard, I'm probably going to have that strawberry milkshake. The rest of the time, you keep your berries and shit, and I'll take the chocolate every day.
Well, the thing with strawberries, and you're right. I mean, if you grow them yourself, you can grow some very awesome strawberries. But you're right about store bought, and I don't know about some of the Whole Foods and fresh markets and things like that. I mean, they may
think that's the point too. I've never. You have to get out of somebody's backyard or like
have,
farmers market.
I don't know. But I know anything that requires the picking and the shipping and the storage and the packing and all of that stuff. They they're done in such a way that they're not supposed to really ripen the way that they should, right? But I will say this: I've gotten
to be green and then ripen under nitrogen.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about. You cut into them or you bite into them, and the centers is like white, right?
Yeah, they're just
and the center. I mean, the very outside of the strawberry can be flavorful, but then on the inside it's really bland. There's really not that a lot of flavor to it. But what I was getting at with this is I've learned something. And it's really weird. It's like it accelerates the ripening process or something with them. But I'm a huge fan of chocolate covered strawberries. If you've seen my Instagram, you know that. And I played around with dipping them in all kinds of chocolates. Anytime I run across a chocolate I've never heard of or whatever, it's like, ooh, I wonder what it's like to dip that in, strawberries in that. So I do that pretty regular. And most of the time, I mean, I don't have access to fresh strawberries. So I'll just get a quart or whatever they are, a package at the store. And I used to work in produce, so I know kind of how to look at them and go, okay, they're the best ones of the bunch. But you'll dip them, and I'll dip all of them at once. And the thing is, I don't know what it is, but something about dipping them in that chocolate, and then you put them in a tray, in the fridge, and maybe Pancakes knows stuff about this. I don't know, but you have to eat those suckers quick because they'll literally rot on you within about 4 days or something. I mean, they ripen that much that quick. But in doing that, I've noticed that you can do that, and they're pretty good just eating them just as soon as the chocolate solidifies. But if you put them in the fridge and leave them, overnight, until the next day or whatever, and then, like I said, moving forward, it's even more pronounced that the inside will actually turn from white to red and be way more juicy and way more flavorful. And
so it sort of accelerates the.
Well, what I think it does, and I think the chocolate shell, like fruit puts off gases and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was going to say.
The chocolate shell keeps all of that in and makes it ripen more, I think, or something.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Like if you want to ripen certain fruits, you put them in a paper bag or something, and that way it holds the gases that they give off close to them, and it ripens them faster. Like avocado, if you want to ripen avocados a little bit faster, put them in a paper bag, close the paper bag, and it'll accelerate that.
And the same thing's the opposite. Separate them, and they'll last longer.
Right. Yeah. Don't put them together. And that's something too, that a lot of certain fruits that grow, when you think about it, they help each other ripen on the vines or on the trees or whatever. They're close together that actually help themselves naturally ripen. But yeah, another really cool one, Clover. This is something that I've done, at the restaurant. And if you like chocolate covered strawberries, I don't know if you like, cherries or anything like that.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
I know.
Good cherries. Again, a lot of the cherries, like we're talking about with the strawberries, a lot of them you get are just kind of bland, and grapes have gotten to where they're that way too. They're just kind of bland with blah, and they don't have a lot of flavor.
I have not had the bad cherries yet. I'll agree with you on the grapes for sure, and sometimes peaches, but not as much peaches or cherries.
Oh God, and I'm ruined on peaches because I live in an area where there's quite a few peach orchards, and especially with me around my grandfather's house, and even here on this property, there's some. Well, my grandfather calls them Indian peaches, and they're not really big peaches, but holy Jesus, are they flavorful? They're the most amazing, and they're not a peach color. They're a lot lighter color than what somebody would traditionally see in a peach. I don't want to say they're white or nothing on the inside, right? But it's really misleading because the flavor is just out of this world. So I'm a little ruined on that when it comes to doing store peaches for the same reason.
I'm like that with pears. Like if I'm at the grocery store or something, a lot of times if I'm especially if I'm walking around produce, I'll go towards pears and pick a few up, and if I get one that seems like really, really nice, I'll grab a pear or two. But if they're a little bit over or a little bit under, I don't want anything to do with them. Yeah.
See, my great grandfather had a pear tree. So yeah, I mean, I get you. I'm used to really, really good pears off of that pear tree.
Yeah,
so.
They have to be tender, but not like soft and grainy. But if they're hard, if they're crisp, like you would like an apple to be crisp, it's just something about it I don't dig. So yeah, I'm like real particular with those.
DTP said earlier, banana is the worst flavor milkshake.
That could be.
Well, we know Ape didn't say that.
I have to be in a mood to eat anything banana at all. Like, and it's rare that I'm in the moods anymore. But like for banana cream pies back in the day, like I want to like banana cream pie. Seems like it'd be a great idea, right? I just don't like banana cream pie.
Yeah. How about banana pudding?
No, I don't like any puddings though.
No. See, I'm weird. Yep. I'm weird with bananas too. I've been known to eat like a raw banana. You know what I mean? But like banana flavored stuff. And even if it's like real banana, even if like it's a smoothie or you're talking about with a shake or, banana, I don't like banana in anything or banana flavoring. But if you get a speckled banana, and this all comes from working produce years ago or whatever. I mean, you had to weed those out and whatever.
You mean when it's getting brown, it's turning yellow to brown?
When it just starts to, it's a nice like golden yellow, and it's just starting to get some brown spots in it. There's a certain point, kind of like Midnight was talking about with the pears. There's a certain point with a banana that I'll eat that banana, just the banana, and I'm okay with it. But outside of that, I don't care for it.
It's funny because, when you get bananas in the restaurant, you can order them in different states of doneness. You can get them green, what's called on the turn, which is green turning into yellow, and then ones that are fully ripe. So normally we get them on the turn, so that way over the next couple of days they start to soften up and get ripe. But I love them, just like you said, just yellow with just a couple of tiny little specks of brown are awesome. Other than that, I'm not a huge, that's what I look for. And I do not like fake banana flavor or like banana, flavored stuff except for pudding. I've always loved banana pudding. So it's really weird. Like, but fake banana, anything else, I don't go for, but I don't know. I don't know what it is about banana pudding that I've always dug. Jello.
We're all old enough. Like how much of this is like, when we were all kids, our parents were just going to the store, buying stuff out of a box or a can, or not even pouches at that point, and then making it, and we were all eating it. And if we went somewhere, that's what we're eating, right? So how much of that is programming, like all those banana flavors and stuff, like we're accustomed to them because that's what we grew up with.
Yeah, well, and two, there wasn't as maybe you were getting at this. there wasn't as many different products either. So like if you went to the store and you got banana pudding, it was like there was one brand. Like everybody had the same one. So yeah, it was a little different. Now there's 100 different types of this, that, and the other thing,
Yeah. See, I'm still a big fan of just like the old school macaroni and cheese. The powder with some butter and a little bit of milk in the noodles and whip it up. And now they've got the cheese packets, the Kraft Deluxe and all this other stuff. And you just, you boil and drain your noodles, and then you put the cheese sauce in there and stir it up, and you're done. And it's creamier and all of that. And I get that, and I eat it fine. At the end of the day, it's macaroni and cheese, right? But it's just, there's something about, and I think it's what G says. I think it's a nostalgia thing or whatever. There's just something about the texture and the flavor and everything of just old school, powdered cheese, macaroni and cheese.
Well, here's what I think. Back in the day, I don't know about you people, but when my mom is not a good cook. I told her that. She's not a big secret or whatever. My grandmas were fine because they're old grandmas, right? And I wouldn't eat. I'm at with my mom, so I'm not eating grandma's food every day or nothing. You get grandma's food on holidays and occasionally if you went over there, right? And you know what good food is. And then I would occasionally go to like other old ladies' houses or some sort of a potluck or something, and there's like really good food out there. I don't know if y'all had good food at home or what, but I'm getting at, like, I would have to eat stuff that was gross, in my opinion. And then every once in a while, like you say, you get something like macaroni and cheese, which is like, you can't ruin that. You know what it's going to taste like. It's salty. It's good. Right. Is it like the stuff that we had was like gross and that was the good stuff? So like, we got like bonded to it. And now, even though there's better stuff or different stuff, like we still got that. Or am I crazy? Maybe y'all had better food.
No, I mean, I think so. I think in a way. Yeah. Yeah, there's certain things I'll eat to this day that were, that are not primo or whatever. Not a premium food or whatever. And
something that's really, people sometimes don't realize. How much history and memory, like family history and memories and good times are connected to food that might be considered substandard or trashy or crappy or something that you ate and it was like, oh, that's that's garbage.
Like the rest
you're right. I mean, smell in particular is a sense that really triggers memory. And when you're dealing with food, I mean, smell is a huge thing.
Yeah, and you look back at things that you might have had when you were a kid that you helped make or something like that. Oh, sorry. You helped make, and you look at it now and you're like, man, that's not that nice, or that's, kind of could have been a lot better. They could have done this or that. Doesn't matter because it connects you to a family member or a holiday or something like that. That's, way cooler than having something that's perfect,
Yep. Well, I was lucky, and I mean, I guess my mom is not as good of a cook, not really as good as a cook as I don't know. I mean, there's different levels of cooks, right? So growing up and even throwing my wife into the mix or whatever, it's not that I was around necessarily anybody that was a bad cook. They all had their different styles. My wife is more cutting edge, likes to play with stuff, add little flavors, tinker around, tweak it to, its max appeal for me, that type of thing. My mom was all about the quick, right? So it was whatever could be done quick. My grandmother put a lot of time and stuff in hers and all, but she didn't, unlike my wife, she did not flavor tweak really anything. Her seasoning for everything was salt pork or something. You know what I mean? It was pretty standard.
Grandmas did stuff to like their recipe, period. It was awesome most of the time, but like it didn't waver from that recipe. It could be like windy out and it could be like a hole in the ceiling and it would still pretty much come out because they knew what they were doing, right? boom,
Right.
here's
Yeah.
that. But my grandma, she could whip out, some sort of weird chicken gross thing, or some kind of weird meat, like roll in a thing with stuff in the middle. Like she'd whip out like real food, like actual stuff with flavor, and like she had a big spice rack. She'd use all those different spices, and she'd be like, "We're eating this kind of food tonight," or this kind of thing. Where like Dan was saying, my mom would be like, "Here, I got this in a crock pot. I read this recipe outside of a box or something." It was just always not. Yeah. So anyway, my grandma could cook stuff quicker or quickly, but it would be like, I don't know, I call it elaborate, but it'd be freaking awesome. She was just, skilled, I guess, right? She can just get in there. She's done it a billion times, boom, boom, boom. But all out of ingredients, not out of, nothing like, seriously, nothing out of a box other than like, the flour came out of a box or something.
Right. Yeah.
But then when she went nuts on Thanksgiving, holy crap, right? Leave her alone for 3 days and better than any restaurants, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, that all started from milkshakes.
But I've, talking about, things progressing or whatever. We still have the family reunions, or whatever that come up every year. And it's really interesting as you get older, and go to those family reunions. It's really interesting to see the level of care and expertise or anything else people put into their food anymore. You know what I mean? You used to go to those, and I mean, it was amazing. You look forward to going for cousin so-and-so's this or aunt so-and-so's that, and then, time marches on and you're like, okay, aunt so-and-so's daughter can't cook for crap, and she brought fried chicken from the, grocery store or something, and, just weird stuff like that.
Well, so much of that stuff dies with the person that used to do it too.
Oh yeah.
And that's a bummer. It's one of those things that you don't think about till it's too late, somebody passes away, and
Right.
there might have been a recipe somewhere, maybe, or maybe not, but there might have been a recipe somewhere, and that somebody borrowed it, or somebody took it and somebody used it and never gave it back. And next thing you know, it's gone,
Yeah. The best buttermilk pie, but sometimes the people just can't do it. You know what I mean? They just can't.
Right.
And I'll give you an example, is because the best buttermilk pie I ever had, and I mean, I still get with my grandmother around, thank goodness. And so far, nobody has even come close to what she can do, let alone my aunt, her sister. But my aunt, as far as the filling for the buttermilk pie, my grandmother makes a killer freaking pie crust from scratch. It's freaking awesome. And my aunt would make the filling for the buttermilk pies, and then my grandmother the crust, and then my grandmother would bake them. And freaking amazing buttermilk pies, amazing. My aunt passed. My aunt passed away. Great aunt, I guess it would be. And my grandmother still does buttermilk pies, but because the filling's not quite the same, it just doesn't hold the candle.
Is that like a custard?
Has anybody else even heard of a buttermilk pie before?
No, that's what I was
I
gonna say.
don't know what it is.
Is it like a custard?
I've never heard of it, so I'm looking it up here.
Really?
But it is true. He's not lying.
God, buttermilk pie is amazing.
I've never even heard those two words together. Seriously.
Wow. Okay.
It's buttermilk pie is a custard-like pie originally from United Kingdom. It's a Europe pie. It's now a traditional pie of the southern United States, similar to, sometimes confused with chess pie, which I've also never heard of. Does not include cornmeal. So it's pie crust with 3 large eggs, a bunch of sugar, a bunch of butter, flour, and then buttermilk, and then some lemon juice and some vanilla. Wow.
I want some now.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Everybody probably takes it a little different.
Like this with coconut in it occasionally, and that's one of the reasons I don't like eating pies, because I didn't like it.
All right, I got a question. You could take that, and you could take that because it's a custard. You could even put like sugar on top of it and torch it like a creme brulee. That'd be awesome.
That's actually what. It's not like a cream pie. There's no. I call it calf slobber, but the whipped egg white stuff that people put on the top of pies. Now the ones that I've been accustomed to seeing, whatever, are not like that. And yes, they will bake it, and then they will kind of torch the top of it a little bit.
Oh,
Huh.
ripping me off.
Man.
And
The
it's
ones I
dry
make.
inside or it's moist in there?
No, it's like creamy and like the outside, the part that's torched, obviously, is got a little bit of a crispity to it in a way. It's like creates like a seal almost, but the inside is like it's not creamy. It's not like a traditional custard pie. It's not like a Boston cream or a coconut cream or a chocolate cream or
Right.
something like that.
It's not like
the texture is a little different, but it's not
like with cornbread in there, or is it like cornbread?
no, it's not. No. It's way creamier than cornbread.
Okay.
Yeah.
So has anybody else out there ever heard of this buttermilk pie?
That's crazy. I can't believe that's a huge Southern thing. I can't believe you've never heard of it.
Nope. We with what you Southern people do, the rest of the country, civilized part of the country.
Yeah.
You
No,
ever have rhubarb pie?
Have you ever heard of that chess pie they talked about?
Yeah, chest pie is similar to that.
I was like I say, it looks kind of like what I've seen as coconut pies, I guess, before. At least they looked kind of like this. But,
It does kind of look like that, yeah.
But look at these pictures. I mean, it runs the gambit from this looks like cheesecake or something. This looks like, again, some kind of...
That looks like that right there that you got your mouse on that's got kind of the golden top to it. That's similar to what I'm talking about that I'm used to eating for buttermilk pie right there.
graham cracker crust or like the pastry pie crust or different?
It's a pastry pie crust that my grandmother hand makes is what I'm used to. And even the people in the family that do it with a store-bought crust, but it's more of a flaky crust.
Okay, not a graham cracker cheesecake type of thingy or something.
No, no.
I know what you mean.
I guess you could do that. I mean, it's possible.
This or cheesecake, which is better? You've had both.
Oh, with me, that without a doubt.
And then is this a cold or one of the warms or hot or how do you eat it?
Either freaking way. Yeah.
I'm not into hot pies ever, I don't think. What about you guys?
If it's a fresh apple pie and you melt a little bit of ice cream over the top of it, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And even that buttermilk is good. Just a few minutes or whatever out of the oven. Just enough to cool, just enough you can eat it or whatever. But yeah, like cream pies, type pies that I'm used to eating, they're better after they've been chilled. So, but like I said, the buttermilk pie, you can go either way with it. But there's a lot of I'm gonna say this. I'll caveat this for those that are intrigued by buttermilk pie and go out in search of buttermilk pie to try. Buttermilk pie is tricky. I've been to many restaurants, and anytime it's on the menu, my wife always says something to me like, "Ooh, they've got buttermilk pie," and I typically try it, and it's usually crap. So I don't, keep an open mind if you do that. That the key to buttermilk pie is having somebody making buttermilk pie that knows what the heck they're doing. I truly think so. I think people maybe they overuse the buttermilk or they underuse the buttermilk or they don't. Maybe they don't whip the filling properly. I don't know because I'm not a chef or a cook or, I've never been involved in the buttermilk pie making process. But maybe they use store-bought filling or some kind of crap like that. It'd be in a restaurant. I don't know. But yeah, if anybody is ever around this area, coming through whatever, and my grandmother is still alive, then I called her into making one, and you can definitely try some good buttermilk pie.
Did you already say, and I was not paying attention, ice cream, whipped cream, or anything like that?
With what?
Do you put anything on it or with it or anything?
No, with the buttermilk pie, heck no, man. Just lop off a freaking slice and eat that stuff.
Right on.
You could, but I mean, I don't think it requires it. Now, another interesting, if we're going down the pie road, that's interesting. Another one my grandmother makes, and I'm not a fan of it, but it's definitely weird when you tell people about it. She does a pinto bean pie, and
is that like a chicken pie, like a savory thing?
It tastes like, honestly, and this is why I don't like it. It tastes like a raisin pie to me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
it's like a mincemeat or a raisin, or it's along that lines. and so I don't care for it. I don't like that type of a pie.
Oh, you know what? Have you had what are they called? Some kind of bean something or another, and they'll wrap it in rice, and it's like I'll go to like Asian restaurant or Asian markets, and they'll have it there. Sweet.
They
bean.
do it like the sesame, like the sesame balls.
No, well, maybe. Hold on, I'm coughing on a peanut because like I'm fucking hungry now because we're talking about freaking pies and ice cream shakes and shit. So no, I'm talking maybe on the outside, but on the bean curd, sweet bean curd.
Yeah, the yellow bean paste.
No, they're making it different colors. I've seen it in kind of a reddish color, I guess. But anyway, yeah, but they'll put it inside of dumplings and then inside of cookies and inside a thing. So this almost looks like that. This pie, this pinto bean pie. Probably soggying up a bunch of beans until they're about to fall apart into mush, and then putting a bunch of sugar syrup or something around them so that you get all that starch, and then right when it's as sweet as you can, and then give it some sugar, and then almost like unmixed mashed potatoes.
Apparently, J Monty out there, he likes bean pies. So, interesting. Each their own. They've got their own.
They're real like dense, so that's the thing. They're it's not like you eat a big piece. You like you want the flavor and the mouthfeel or whatever, so you'd eat like some, right? And then I wouldn't think, at least I can't imagine looking at these pictures. Oh, I'm not screen sharing. I can't imagine looking at these pictures that I'd want to eat a really big giant piece of it, like something like that. But look, they spread the gambit from this thing looks like Spam. This thing looks like pecan pie. This one looks like pumpkin pie, and this looks like a freaking pile of raw beans. So I don't know what the hell this recipe is. Like
My grandmother's the one my grandmother does looks like, what did you search for? Oh, pinto bean pie?
Yeah.
It looks a lot like almost like a raisin pie or something.
Well, when it first opened, it looked to this, right, as you were saying, raisin pie, and that kind of looked to me like, kind of crumbly, but
yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. It looks kind of like that to me. Yeah. It's not really, but that's close. That or that old fashioned one down there, kind of similar to that one, maybe too. Yeah.
I could see not eating that. Gizzard, you eating this bean pie?
I'd try it.
Pancakes? You buying this? Eating it?
I'll try anything. Damn near.
There are people that rave about it. I mean, they do church like twice a year. They'll do a church garage sale, yard sale thing, and they make way more money off of taking pie orders. My grandmother taking pie orders than anything, and it's one of the popular ones. I mean, that gets requested. I'm just, like I said, I'm not a fan.
So we're talking pies, and I said I don't like hot pies. Now I remembered I do like some hot pies, and that would be when you make these. Has everybody ever done this before? Where you get one of these little gizmos and you take 2 pieces of bread.
Oh, yeah.
Squish this. So you get the concept. You have these 2 pieces. Put whatever filling you're going to put in your 2 pieces of bread. A lot of times you butter the bread on the other side. And when it comes out, well, it doesn't look like a grilled cheese. It kind of looks like a grilled cheese, actually.
Like a weird fried pie, kind of.
Yeah, kind of looks like this. So they're like grilled cheeses made out of fruit. Has anybody ever tried those or used that little gizmo?
I never have. That's interesting.
Oh, okay.
No, I've seen it done too with like biscuit dough and stuff like that.
Yeah, we would buy a tube of the biscuit dough. Because this is always like when we were out scouts camping. You buy a biscuit dough, take a biscuit, squish it, and then put that on one side, pie goop. There was a million ways to play around with it. These things probably cost $10 or $15 at the store, and they're just metal, little things so you can not get burned when you stick it in the fire.
Right.
Look, somebody stuck a fried egg in there, some cheese and shit. That'd probably be pretty good.
That's a bird's nest is what my aunt calls those. She makes those.
Well, we had not talked about guns almost at all, but as I was telling Sean earlier, I do this one as an alternative to News of the Day, give people a break from it, and on Wednesdays we talk about entertainment.
Sure.
One thing before I go on guns, to any panelists from Texas, what does the bill to allow silencers on state level mean to you? Would you need a federal stamp?
That is to try to close a loophole between the federal and Texas regulations more than anything. That's the way I understand this. It's not going to allow us to do really anything to bypass the NFA stuff.
I think Kansas had something similar to that a couple of years ago, and somebody tried it in court and it didn't get very far.
Right. It's like there's between the state laws and regulations and the federal, there's like some discrepancies, and so it's to kind of close all that stuff up. So it's more, I don't know. So that I guess what I'm saying is, should suppressors come off of the NFA, it's more of a preparatory bill for that, if that makes sense. So that then Texas really doesn't have to do anything with its state laws. We just roll with it.
Kind of a necessary step that would be more an easy transition, or more,
Right.
like, let's make this happen because look, every state is already set up for it.
Yeah.
At the national level.
Yeah, and then if they, pass, say, an HPA or something like that, eventually, then I mean the state's ready to go. It doesn't have any conflicting state regulations.
So, I don't know unless anybody wants to address the rest of the Dan's question there. If there's anything else, I was going to say, I don't know how long if everybody's got any wind lift in them, but did anybody watch the chat with Sean earlier? Anything to chat about from that one?
Man, I
learned a lot. Today.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. And thanks for doing that. And I know he's not listening, but I said it in the chat, but thanks for him jumping in last minute. Was classy, to fill that spot.
Dude, it actually worked out pretty well because I had Tim Knight today, and he'd been kind of doing stuff and I don't know. So that one's been tough. I knew he's for a week, Tim had been like, yeah, this is the day. And then immediately he was like, well, but maybe. And then, well, no, it's no problem. Oh, wait, well, maybe. And then, no, it's no problem. Well, I'm going to be, nope, it's okay. It was like that, literally for like a week. And, so I'm like, whatever, it's going to happen or it's not, right? And then, like yesterday, Sean said, oh, you know what, I'm traveling on Thursday, so if we can do it Wednesday. And I'm like, shit, is it worth telling Tim I want to change it, after him being so hemming and hawing about it? And then just as I'm making that decision, he goes, hey, can we move it? I can't, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah, perfect, no problem, move it. And then Sean sort of like, hey, I can't do it Thursday, I can do it Wednesday. So it worked out perfectly.
Yeah. But I got to listen to about half of it. I've got to go back and replay and finish because Artisan Tony, I said something in the chat to Artisan Tony because I seen him there, and I was like, with what we talked about the other night, I wanted to talk to him about that. And I'm like, hey man, can we have a phone call later? And he calls right in the middle of the show. I'm like, I said later for a reason. I was watching this, I was interested. So, but he called. So I mean, I was talking with him, and sadly I missed probably the last half or so of it, 20 minutes at least. I didn't have. It's one of them things I did not have with Sean and really any of the guys with We Like Shooting. Unlike some of the people that you may interview or people that we talk about, analyze whatever on a regular basis, I had no really any opinion one way or another about those guys. He really encapsulated, captured my attention very early on with that because it really impressed me with where he come from. I thought it was extremely interesting with his tech background, and that was one comment that I'd put out in there. I'd actually commented on that a lot of the people seems like that start these channels or podcasts or whatever it might be, work these social medias, have some type of an IT background, and he elaborated on that to say that's one of the things that we understand more about having your own platform, more about having your own proprietary ways of doing things and stuff like that. So, maybe that's a good thing, even though it's kind of it's kind of weird that it's that way. Maybe it's a good thing that, our community is made up of a lot of those people, because that means that we have people out there that are thinking tech wise about evolution and that next step and, how do we get away from these other things? And then just the number, I had no clue. Like I said, I don't know that much about the guys, but the other thing that was impressive was the amount of training and stuff, particularly with medical and stuff like that. And this is the sheer volume of stuff that they do. And it goes to show that, they've got 13,000 subs or something like that on YouTube. So
No,
you can't,
10.
you
It's like
can't,
10.
well, whatever it is, it's not much.
No.
But it just goes to show that you don't judge people by their YouTube views, because outside of the YouTube world, you start delving into the podcasting world, and they're pretty huge. And you would not know that if you just said, "Oh, look we like Shophound, we like shooting on YouTube. They're crap," not so much. They just don't spend a lot of time and effort on their YouTube. That's all.
Well, the thing is, you wouldn't know, right? If you weren't paying attention to podcasts specifically, and even if you were, I mean, they have an audience that fosters its own audience. So it does come from the typical sources like any audience, through the reach and social media platforms. But once people find the show, because they're on so many platforms, once they find the show, they're either attracted to it or not. It's unique. And with so many people and everything, I mean, it's it's either for you or you're not. They drink a lot and they swear a lot. So if you're adverse to that stuff, you're not going to dig it. And then even if you are, just because you drink and swear all the time doesn't mean you love everybody else who drinks and swears all the time, right? So there's always taste or whatever. But because they got 5 people, I mean, they're obviously super successful. So I think that what they've from the start, and I don't want to make it a Q&A thing. I want to leave it as open as possible, unless the person just isn't talkative. But Sean was able to do it, without
he was
prompting anything. So
you could tell wasn't his first rodeo,
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully it's a useful thing for him to be able to do all that in one spot and not have just a 20-minute blurb, right? But anyway, so I didn't want to get too digging into the whole dynamic of how they strategize that from the beginning, but so they're a neat project in many ways. So anyway, go ahead. You were saying something about it.
No, I mean, that's, I don't even remember at what point I had to jump out. I think you just started the house or something. You were a couple of questions in or something on the house when I had to jump. So I kind of listened to his opening monologue, and then I guess is what you would call it. And then a little further on down the line. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to, I'll kick on the other half probably sometime tomorrow while I'm doing something and pick it up. But it was super informative. And I'm liking what you're doing, because it's with all of that stuff, because it's it gives people insight. I mean, we're really quick a lot of times to judge on the opinions of others and things like that, and when you can have people on in a fairly raw format, and especially the way you've got it structured, you don't get off on a whole lot of tangents with those interviews. It gives the viewers, listeners,
to go oh, NRA, let's talk about that, or oh, women in shooting, let's talk about that. Let's have a separate discussion, right? This is just about them, ideally.
Right. Right. Yeah. When they can talk about themselves for an hour, within the confines of that format, then you get to know a little bit more about that person. And so some of the misconceptions that you may get, you hear them and you go, well, I've listened to that podcast a bunch of times. It's on. Those guys are pricks, or that dude's a prick, or whatever, and then you hear a raw interview and you're like, okay, outside the confines of the show, this guy's saying things in a different way, in a different tone. It's a little more articulate. So, is part of what I'm hung up on is I just don't like the way that they present themselves on the show. And I'm not saying about that at all about Sean and the people and the guys from We Like Shooting. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I think that is what some people get hung up on a lot of times, is they get hung up on the presentational aspect of things, rather than, are these people good people making rational moves and rational decisions, and knowing a little bit about their thought process, why they got into it, and their thought process on, working with their projects, moving their projects forward, and all of that stuff. And it's pretty obvious from, and I know the NRA thing that he went off on today was a little bit of a tangent, but it's pretty obvious by his response to that, whether you agree with that or not. Pretty obvious by his response to that, as well as his journey through this new media, from how everything started to where it's at today, and everything in between, including the monetization aspects and the support and the advertising and the other things. That he's taken a very pragmatic approach to everything. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys that does think about things, that does think things through. He's not just flinging through life willy nilly. And that's great. I mean, that's the type of people that we want to have around.
Well, and that's the thing. I think I don't know. Do you guys want to throw in anything? I don't know if you were watching the show earlier. Oh, look. Pancakes is saying that he has nothing to say, nothing good to say to this guy, and he's getting the hell out because we even brought it up. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. No, not at all, actually.
He's anti We Like Shooting. He doesn't like shooting. He hates shooting. Pancakes.
They like shooting.
He said
I don't know much about him. Man.
He said something about needing to get to the milkshake place before it closes.
All right. Get his peanut butter milkshake.
You go buy one off of eBay and make my own.
There you go.
Then you'll be sorry.
Pretty soon they'll just have drones dropping milkshakes on us like this.
They already have.
Wouldn't that be cool to have a 24/7 DQ milkshake drone? That'd be, yeah.
They already have the little propellers on them. They could just use one of the propellers to blend it up for you.
Blend it up for you. Blend it in flight. In-flight blending.
You just hold this cup up, and the drone comes up and soft serve poops it down into your.
Blends it for you. Yeah.
Or you get one of those robot things to just scoot across the floor and bring it to you.
A Roomba. It would be a milkshake
like
Roomba.
That robot that's in the grocery store, the one you're always talking about.
Marty's lazy. He ain't doing that. He's not going through all that effort.
He could be trained.
Shit.
Be reprogrammed to serve human.
To serve human. Hello, human. Here is your milkshake. Starts speaking in crazy languages, turns orange and freaks out on you, throws a milkshake at you. Takes off down the street.
That might be an interesting Patreon level. I'm always saying throw a cup of coffee at people, throw a milkshake at somebody. That's a different mental picture, and it's like thank you, like and milkshake's $4 instead of $3 or whatever.
There you go.
And then have your different Patreon levels, the different like a milkshake sundae or something, and then like ice cream cake.
Oh, that's one we didn't talk about, but yeah.
So, but keeping it on Sean and We Like Shooting, you probably missed, I think, the NRA timeline that he was talking about.
Well, I got that, I think.
So
unless y'all went back at some point, y'all went back to the whole NRA thing.
We may have in talking about some of the how or something, but I know after one of the advantages of doing this, one of my ulterior motives of doing the interviews. I mean, I don't mind doing interviews. I've been doing interviews since I've been doing YouTube, but kind of like not with any real rhyme or reason, just kind of targets of opportunity. If I was standing next to somebody and there was something to chat about, we did an interview. But because I've been unsuccessful in getting two A media together, both old and new, on a monthly basis for like Every Second Matters or any other branding, just getting people into one conversation, occasionally we can get one or two, right, with like a regular panel, regular group represented, and then a couple of experimented, like interested Tony Simon, I think, sticks around. He's hanging out. A couple of other people have been back for more than one or two chats, but we've all seen like we don't get regular Second Amendment media. So, joining these monthly discussions, and that's what I think we're missing. We have an opportunity to unite Clover's concept of building bridges, right? Just getting together once in a while on a regular basis, I think could be beneficial to us all. I don't think we need to merge together and be some kind of fucking Borg or love each other. I do not like a lot of the people out there. They're unscrupulous. I don't think they're good for our whatever culture, honestly, community. And but whatever, we're capitalists, and they're allowed to do their thing the way they want to do it, and I can sit over here and do my thing the way I want to do it, right? But at the same time, we're all going to pick up the rope and pull for what's important, and that's all that matters. So, I'm reaching out to people who I know and I don't know, and well, Sean obviously is fluent in all this stuff, but one of the things, alternative motives is, when I'm talking to people who aren't familiar, Clover's experienced this and been doing that same kind of outreach. When you bring people on to either a Google Hangout or some other kind of method of internet communication for the first time, you're giving them an introduction to a whole new level of conversation. We don't have to explain it to people here because they're familiar with it.
Oh yeah.
So there's that aspect, and then just the idea of like sharing resources. So when I found out from Sean his like attitude and motivation, I guess, based on the NRA, results of the NRA meeting, they put this NRA Under Fire as like a whole separate segment of their projects. So the same way I've got like the 2A History Project and Minuteman University, I've tried to segmentize and put things separately so that they can be found and, archived separately so that they have their own place and they're not just another blog post in your bigger project or something. Like they put this out and they're planning on doing this on a monthly basis. So they put some serious effort into scrutinizing since 1981 all the different mentions, basically sort of a accumulation of all the articles, news, every time the NRA's hit the big news, and and then being able to see it all in a timeline form like this, and then having discussions about it. Then that's the other ulterior motivation to doing the interview. So since I can't get everybody together, I figure having these interviews individually gives me a chance to, have the introduction, let people see that they're all regular people, give them a chance to talk about what they've done, but then hopefully an equal amount of time on why they're doing it and with the focus on why they're doing it, and then how, so that we can chat with like Sean, who has lots of tech knowledge. We probably could chat with Sean 3 hours during your Thursday shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he had more time to do stuff, we should start inviting him to the Thursday shows. Imagine the insight he could give us on freaking everything, really. I mean, he's been doing it well on so many platforms in so many ways. It's amazing.
Right.
Anyhow, so I'm just going to throw this out there again. Like I say, we chatted off air a bit, and hopefully, well, it sounds like I've already chatted with Jeff Knox, so we're getting grouped together.
Oh, and I noticed he was in the chat, so that was cool. He's been involved,
Well, he was really interested in talking to Tim, watching the interview with Tim, and like I say, Tim kind of changed at the last moment. So I had the Tim one kind of on my YouTube channel for like a week, right? Sitting there like waiting to happen, and then literally like a half an hour before it was scheduled to start, I pushed it a week further into the future, assuming that I'm going to chat with him in a week, and then privated it so it disappeared, and then started the new one up with Sean out of nowhere, and put it in the same time slot. So unless somebody had literally the same link saved, right, that wouldn't work. But if they just went to my channel and clicked on the next video or the most recent live or something like that, or they went to an alert, I guess, depends on how people want to use it, right? They got to a different interview than they expected. But 25 people watching, that was only Jeff probably that ran into that situation, right?
Okay, guys, I'm going to need to hop out. It's bedtime.
We're shutting it down then. There's no reason to keep it going. Thanks, Gary, for jumping in. Thanks, Clover, for joining us. And thanks, everybody, for sticking around for milkshakes, Second Amendment advocacy, and buttermilk pies.
Yeah, right.